Hello everyone, my name is Jacob, as always, the head coach of the Green Bay Pikachus, and this is our draft analysis for the P4G, the next generation. First up and foremost, before I get into the draft analysis, I gotta give a big shout out to my boy under the radar, Kelly. He asked me if I wanted to be in the P4G, and of course, I had to accept. Such a great guy. Make sure you check him out in the description down below to his Twitter and YouTube, as well as the other head coaches' YouTubes. Just their YouTubes will be in the description down below. Whenever we face a certain coach this season, though, their Twitter will also be in the description along with all the YouTube for everyone. Shout out to Ultra Battler Tom. I can't remember his name. He made a little description thing for everyone's YouTube, so I appreciate that. It makes everyone's job easier. So let's get started. So basically, if you guys don't know, the P4G is a draft league. Draft league for Pokemon is basically fantasy football that you draft 11 Pokemon and sometimes a Z Crystal, like it is in this one, like it is in this league, I should say. And then you counter team your opponent each and every single week. So you bring 6 Pokemon to counter your opponent's 11 Pokemon. You counter their 6 that you think they're gonna bring, and you try to bring the best 6 in any given matchup. So, with that being said, basically you had the draft. This was a little bit different. The P4G allowed quite a bit of interesting Pokemon. They didn't allow. They allowed a lot of Pokemon that are usually banned in draft leagues, like Pokemon like Darkrai, Pokemon like Pheromosa, Pokemon like Magearna. Magearna's I've seen around more so than normal, but we didn't want. I mean, the only tier and all those Pokemon that are not usually here are in the what's called the Ultra tier. However, if you draft an Ultra tier Pokemon, you cannot draft a Mega Pokemon unless your Mega was in the Ultra tier, Mega Metagross. So the only thing I really wanted in that tier, I'll just name off all the Ultra tier Pokemon really quick. So you have Aegislash, Ash Greninja, Speed Boost, Blaziken, Darkrai, Deoxys Defense, and Deoxys Speed. Genesect, Protean Greninja, Landorus Incarnate, Pheromosa, Tapu Lele, Naganadel, Magearna, and Mega Metagross. Honestly, those Pokemon, those are all the Ultra tier Pokemon, and the only one I really wanted to use was Mega Metagross. I wouldn't have been too upset if I would have drafted Genesect or something, but I wanted to go a different route. We actually had gotten the 3rd pick, and then it's pretty standard for the rest of the draft way how you draft. So tier 1, tier 2, 2 tier 3s, tier 4, tier 5, 4 free picks, and then you draft your Z Crystal. So what's cool about the Z Crystals, if you draft Wartinium Z, you would get Primarinas, Oceanic Outburst, is that the Z move? I don't remember. Whatever Primarina specific Z move is, you get. Same with like Normalium Z, you get the Pulverizing Pancake, I think that's what it's called. Snorlax is one, etc., etc. It's the only one that was banned was Como's for a good reason. Como with that type of Z moves is just stupid. It's way too good. With that, it's honestly you're just really good with Z moves in general. But anyway, that's not how Z Crystals work. But however, when you drafted a Z Crystal, any Pokemon on your team could be used with a Z Crystal. So that means, like, if we drafted the Dragonium Z, we could have Dragonite with it, or we could have Sceptile with it, etc., etc., whatever we wanted to do. But anyway, we got the 3rd pick. The first 2 picks were Mega Metagross and Aegislash. And I've been wanting to use this Pokemon for a while, and yes, with all the busted Pokemon available here, I could have went with something else. I really could have, but I wanted to go with this Pokemon because it is so versatile. It is so destructive. It is just a monster. And its name is Landorus T. There it is. Its nickname is going to be A-Rod, the Landorus T, because A-Rod, Green Bay Pikachus, Green Bay Packers. Usually whatever I draft first gets the distinct nickname of A-Rod, unless it's a fairy type, which I always name after my beautiful girlfriend Brienne. So all the fairy types will be Brienne and everything, etc., etc. Anyway, Lando T is just crazy good. Like, I don't even need to talk about this thing. What hasn't been said about this thing already that we can say? We really can't say much about it that hasn't been said already. Like, this thing will destroy the stuff, and it's going to do really well. In theory, it should do really well, especially with the team we bought. We have basically we have a gang of destructive forces. You have to pretty much prep for every single thing on our team, and you're going to make yourself a little bit weaker to land OT, or if you over prep for land OT, you're going to make yourself a little weaker to some of our other threats that we drafted. And boy, did we draft some threats! I'm telling you that right now, guys. We drafted a lot of threats. But yeah, land OT is our first pick, so we are the 3rd pick in the first round, so that means we're going to be the 14th pick in the second round, so we have to wait, let's see, and then 13... 26 picks between our 2 picks, so we had to wait a long time to draft. And I'm like, I didn't know what to really draft. I didn't really have a game plan going in. I wasn't gonna completely wing it, but then when I realized I get these next 2 Pokemon, I realized there's a 2-tier gem that I really don't think should be tier 2. Yes, it's not capable of using Z moves all the time, especially in a format like this where you draft Z crystals. But it's still really powerful and a very, very solid Pokemon. The best Fire Ghost type there is. Just invented in Ultra Sun and Moon, actually. It's the Ultra Beast known as Blacephalon. Blacephalon's nickname is going to be Clinton Dix after Haha Clinton Dix, because goes scary, haha. I don't know. Anyway, I like this nickname for all my Ghost types pretty much. Until Haha Clinton Dix won't be on the Packers anymore, then we'll have to kind of change stuff. But that's not the point. Point is, this thing hits like a truck, just like Land T, but mostly on the special side. Though it can get some nice physical moves like knockoff if we want to go that route ever. Though more often than not, it'll just be special. Yes, Mind Blown does 50% damage to you, but we can potentially get 3 strong hits off right there. So that's really crazy. But yeah, it's just very powerful. It's very susceptible to being Pursuit Trap, but nothing aggressive playstyle can't play around. And not everyone's going to have a strong Pursuit Trapper. I know the first couple of opponents of mine don't have Pursuit Trappers at all, or not strong ones at the very least. But still, regardless, this thing's going to be great for sure because of that. So I'm not really too worried about it getting Pursuit Trap the first 2 games. Though I already had my week 1 match as I'm recording this, so there's that. But yeah, I just think Blacephalon is just such a steal in Tier 2, so I had to take it, because it's not going to get back to me in Tier 2. Like, I don't even know if everyone realized this thing was Tier 2! Like, Tier 2 Blacephalon? Damn, that's great. I'll take me some Tier 2 Blacephalon for sure. But Blacephalon should be a solid and integral member of our team. It's a great Choice Scarf user, especially late game when everything's weakened. You just click Shadow Ball or Flamethrower and you just pretty much win the game. Unless they have a Choice Scarf user or a priority themselves. But this thing's only really weak to a couple priority moves being, well, I guess it's Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, and Water Shuriken. The other ones it's not really weak to. So, and its base 107 speed tier is really nice as well, because we can easily just, yeah, like this thing can play around a lot, so it'll be superbly nice in that role. And we can go offensive with Flame Charge if we really need to. Based on what Z Crystal we got, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but when you get there, this thing's not going to sadly be able to abuse that Z Crystal, but I needed a Z Crystal that Lando T could use, because Lando T is one of the best Z users ever, like, out there, like, duh, why would you not get a Z Crystal? But anyway, next up, it'd be our round 3 pick. I can't believe this thing is still here in round 3, but I know it's probably not going to get back to me. So I go ahead and bring my boy back, or my girl back, I should say. Brienne, the Mega Mawile, is coming back. I had Brienne, or Mega Mawile, in UPC Showdown Season 5, where I made it all the way to the finals, but sadly lost. This thing was such a monster. It had like 15 kills and 2 deaths the entire season. And that was with me not bringing it one game. For whatever reason, I didn't bring it one game. Silly, silly me. I don't understand why I didn't bring it in one game. But this thing, like, you always find a way to bring your best Pokemon. Lando T and Mega Mawile are more often than not going to come to 99% of our games this season. So, yeah, find a way to kill them. Just bring it. So, just find a way to try to annihilate these things for sure. But Mega Mawile is such a bulky Pokemon. It's such a strong Pokemon. You don't even need to run a lot of attack investment in this thing, and it's still going to hit insanely hard. Not many Pokemon can really check it. Basically, Steel Psychics like Jirachi and Bronzong with the Clover Berry can, but only Jirachi can really threaten it mostly. And that really doesn't stop it from using Fire Fang, and only stops it from using Knockoff. So it's kind of difficult to stop this mad Pokemon. This thing is just spooky. If you don't prepare for it correctly, it's going to destroy you. And best believe we're going to bring some Trick Room Pokemon to help this thing out a lot. And some Pokemon that can use Thunder Wave to slow Pokemon down for Mega Mawile. Just overall, this thing can put in so much work versus a lot of Pokemon. So, Mega Mawile, yeah, Mega Mawile is going to put in the finest of work this season. Honestly, like, tier or round 3 Mega Mawile isn't going to happen very often, especially in drafts that it's legal. I could have gone something like Mega Kangaskhan, but I'm just like, nah, Mega Kangaskhan's good and all, but it's not Mega Mawile. I just really love this Pokemon. Mega Mawile is such a phenomenal Pokemon in the Draft League format. I mean, in OU it's great too, but that's not the point. Like, I just love it in this because it's so good. It's so good. It's so damn good. You gotta test it out. If any league allows Mega Mawile, draft some nice Trick Room options, and if Speed Pass is allowed, draft like Scolipede or something like that with it, and you're pretty much set to go. Mega Mawile will pretty much destroy everything in sight. The best check to it basically is Arcanine. Arcanine is like the best check to this monster. So who's got Arcanine? Somebody had to have drafted Arcanine, right? Oh yeah, huh? Fun. I actually face Arcanine week 3, which is the match I'm starting to prep for because I already prepped for week 1 and 2. So yeah. I'm still going to bring it, don't worry. Mega Mawile is going to come pretty much every single week. I don't give a crap if you have Arcanine. I'll just predict it, switch in and click Toxic, because why the hell not? You know, anyway, on to round 4. To alleviate some pressure off of Landorus T from having to defog Rocks away. Oh, I forgot to talk about Rocks on Lando T before, or defog on Lando T before. Obviously, got Rocks before, but I forgot to talk about defog on Lando T. But to alleviate the pressure off Lando T from having to defog, we're actually going to go to round 3 and pick up Tentacruel. It's a very reliable rapid spinner. It gets Toxic Spikes. It can be offensive. It's a very bulky Pokemon. And Water Poison's a pretty good type. The only thing it's really extremely weak to is Electric and Ground. Ground mostly. But nothing that our other Pokemon can help deal with. So I really like Tentacruel in this matchup. On this team because it fits in so well so far. It's just a nice rapid spinner for Blacephalon as well. Toxic Spikes are always great to have as an option on a team. I just like hazards in general, but Toxic Spikes especially is probably my favorite entry hazard, at least in draft format. It makes Pokemon's job so much easier to sweep, to get chip damage. Just in general, Tentacruel should be a nice pivot, especially with Black Sludge recovery. And especially with the other Pokemon that we're drafting, I think Tentacruel will be a very pivotal member of the team. We're not going to bring it every week. Maybe like half the weeks or something like that I can envision. I can't see it coming like 75% of the time. I don't think it's that good, but 50%, it makes it a decent Pokemon for sure. That's why it's in tier 3, but it's a solid Pokemon when the matchup is right. But it can be a really big hindrance if the matchup is wrong and you still bring it. Yeah, so we'll just have to be careful on that. I'm not too worried though about matchups yet because I haven't looked at every single matchup, but Tentacruel should be okay for most matchups. So Tentacruel I'm just not really going to talk about because there's a lot. There's some niche strategies that we could run, but I'm not going to get into those in case we need to bring them because I don't want to give any ideas to anybody. Because we're not usually a defensive builder anymore. I'm not a big defensive builder. Sometimes I can go defensive, but most times I'm more of a balanced / offensive builder now. More of an aggressive player than I ever have been before, and that's actually helped me a lot more than in times past. Past times I've been more of a balanced to defensive player, and that's hurt me a lot more. Now balanced offense has helped me out a whole lot more, playing more aggressive. Because a lot of people I've realized are more aggressive of players. Or sorry, no, not more aggressive. A lot of people are more defensive players, and they're not really aggressive. Like, in order to do really, really well in draft format, you need to find the balance between when to be aggressive and when to be conservative. A lot of times you really want to be aggressive, I feel. Sometimes you need to be conservative, but that's just with experience. The more you play draft league format, the more you're gonna get into it and get in the groove and know when to make this read or may know when to make that play. But yeah, Tentacruel is a fine option for tier 3. But we're going to be staying in tier 3 for a while. The next 4 picks are with 4 of Tentacruel are all from tier 3 because tier 3 was loaded, and we actually need to draft from tier 3 because we could lose 40 points for drafting Mega Mawile. I was going to say Mega Metacham, I don't know why. But Mega Mawile. So I need to just keep drafting from tier 3 for a while to make sure we get the best Pokemon from tier 3. And the next Pokemon is, it was also on my UPC team with Mega Mawile. It's one of the best Trick Room users in existence, albeit in draft format or standard. Its name is Porygon 2, aka the Jerk from Pennsylvania, who now lives in Florida, and my brother. So yeah, Porygon 2 is a phenomenal and very underrated Pokemon in draft league format. Honestly, it does not get enough love for what it deserves. Yes, can it be a little bit predictable? Because obviously, more often than not, you're running Eviolite. But can you stop Eviolite? Can you knock off the Porygon 2? Can you poison the Porygon 2? Can you actually kill the Porygon 2? Because sometimes it just doesn't matter if you knock off Eviolite or if you poison it. It still won't die sometimes. This thing's that bulky and this thing's that good. And this thing can hit hard as well with Trace and Download. So you really need to be careful 100% in how you play around Porygon 2. That's all I'm saying about that. Porygon 2 is a menace. If you do not prep for this thing, you will lose to this thing no matter what. Porygon 2, unless you have like the best fighting type, like unless you have like a Buzzwole or a Heracross or some absurdly strong fighting type, you know what I mean though. Mega Metacham, but regardless, you will lose to Porygon 2 if you do not prep for it. Porygon 2 is so strong, or so bulky, and it doesn't die very easily. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Porygon 2 is great. I really, really like it. But yeah, another tier 3. I wanted to go with a fast electric because our team is kind of slowish right now. We have Blacephalon at 107. But regardless, I wanted more speed. I wanted a nice bulky electric pivot that can switch into electric types quite well. That's going to be Scruffy the Jolteon from tier 3. This thing's actually more versatile than people give it credit for. It can be a check to Dragon Dancing Pokemon because it could run Flame Orb with, what is it? Not Sticky Feet. What is the feat? Quick Feet? Quick Feet, I think, is the ability. Something like, whatever raises your speed when you get when you have a status. So if you're burned or poisoned, obviously you run Flame Orb too, because like Flame Orb, since the burn nerf in Gen 7, like Flame Orb obviously is just better than Toxic Orb, but there's not even competition anymore. It was always arguably, oh, is Toxic Orb better than Flame Orb in the past? No, not anymore. Like, Flame Orb's just plain old better, no matter how you look at it, but Jolteon can abuse that. But it's a great electric pivot into electric types because of Volt Absorb. It's going to hinder Pokemon like Heliolisk, other Pokemon maybe like Magnezone from just spamming Volt Switch and getting initiative, where Helios gets U-turn and stuff. But something like Raikou, though Raikou could set up on Jolteon, so I'd have to be really careful. I wouldn't go that route. I don't even think, did anyone even draft Raikou? I don't think anyone drafted Raikou. Oh, no, somebody did. I couldn't remember. I was like, Raikou's in tier 2, so that's a pretty solid tier 2 Pokemon. Like, I don't think it's tier 1, but it's a solid tier 2 for sure. It's value in tier 2, but it's not good enough for tier 1, I think. But anyway, Jolteon is going to be a good electric pivot. And I'm not just saying that based on my week 1 matchup. No! Even though you'll see that this Friday, but still. Jolteon is a very nice Pokemon to have on one's team. Baton Pass, so you can always get initiative that way instead of running Volt Switch, because of all those ground types like Rhydon, Rhyperior, Hippowdon, Zygarde. I could keep going on and on about ground types, but we can click Baton Pass instead of just going hard for like HP Ice or HP Grass. We can just baton pass and get initiative that way if we really want to go that way. I'd say Cleric if we need it, and a Wish Passer, but right in the next round we're getting a better Wish Passer anyway, and a better Cleric anyway, so Jolteon probably will never have Wish. We could run Heal Bell if we need to, if we just use it as a last move, but we don't really need another move, just run Heal Bell. But nonetheless, our next Pokemon is actually the 4th Pokemon from Tier 3. Spoiler, we get 5 Tier 3s in this draft. So next up, it's going to be Divad the Umbreon, aka my friend David. So this thing's a great Cleric. And Umbreon is another one of those Pokemon who what I feel is very underutilized and underrated in draft format. Any Pokemon can be bad if you let it be bad. But most Pokemon can actually be quite good if you look at what they're actually capable of, and if you don't play like a buffoon. So Umbreon is one of those Pokemon. Yeah, it can be really bad if you let it play bad, but if you play aggressively, you know how to use Umbreon, it's going to be a reliable Pokemon for you that passes wishes, that Heal Bells your Pokemon, that can follow play and prevent setup versus Dragon types like Salamence or not Como, that's a bad example. Haxorus or Garchomp. It can stop setup from that with follow play. It can do a lot of things for one's team if you know how to use this thing correctly. If you don't know how to use it, then Umbreon's not for you. But if you know how to use Umbreon well, Umbreon is definitely a good, solid Pokemon, and it's just so bulky and it doesn't really die with any one hit and suffer from Fairy moves. Fairy type is like the one type that can really do damage to it. Outside of Fairy types, it's really not going to... Fighting types too, but for the most part, it's not really going to die very easily. But the awesome thing about Umbreon and Porygon 2 together is we have Landorus T. Landorus T can take on any fighting types, as well as our next Pokemon from Tier 4 that we're going to get to in a minute or two. But yeah, Umbreon is just a solid pivot as well. But next up from Tier 4, I wanted another Tricky user in case we wanted to go that route. And I knew I wanted one of the Pixies going in. I didn't want Uxie though, and I didn't want Azelf, obviously. So that, well, I knew I wanted Mesprit. Hashtag Graham sucks to Mesprit. Honestly, I name after all my Psychic types. Hashtag Graham sucks. But I honestly think Mesprit is the best of the 3 genies. Not necessarily the best, but the most versatile. Like, it can be defensive, or it can be offensive. It can be setup. It can be a Scarf user. It gets Healing Wish. All things that I really like. I like the combination of Trick Room, Healing Wish. This is another Pokemon that I had in my UBC team with Mega Mawile and Porygon 2. I just really, really like this for sure. Because you click Trick Room and then you click Healing Wish. You die and then bring back something back out to full health, and you get rid of any kind of statuses on it or anything like that. So that's really, really cool for sure. So I really, really like Mesprit here on this team because you click Trick Room, you click U-Turn or Healing Wish, you get more. We get another Stealth Rock setter, so that makes 3 on the team right now. Yep. But it gets a lot of coverage moves. The only thing it doesn't really get, I think it gets Fire Punch, but don't quote me. It gets another knockoff user to knock off a pesky Choice Scarf if we're trying to sweep with Lando T or something like that. But overall, this Pokemon should just be solid for us. I can't envision it not doing well for... I mean, I've been saying that about every Pokemon, but I am comfortable using all of these Pokemon. Some of them I used before, and some of them I haven't used before. I think I only haven't used Lando T before. No, there's like 3 or 4 Pokemon in the team I haven't used before, but most of them I have. Every draft, I usually try to go for a few new Pokemon and then draft some Pokemon that I'm comfortable with. Sometimes I like my APA draft. I think I drafted everything was new, maybe. I don't remember. Most Pokemon were new on the APA draft, but that's just a fun draft overall. But anyway, Mesprit will be cool to use, and it'll be very, very fun. And you won't know what I'm going to use with it any given day, so it could be offensive, could be defensive, could be Trick Room, could be Scarf, could be Specs, could be Band. Could be anything, really. Just like most of our Pokemon could be really anything, and you'll have to prep for everything and anything, so just like any given Sunday. But next up, this was round round 9. So we're going in round 9, and I wanted a Z Crystal. I was gonna draft Flyninium Z, but sadly it got taken by accident, and it got taken because I thought it wasn't. I thought it got taken a lot earlier than it did. So I'm just like, somebody else tried to draft Flyninium Z. I think Choice CJ tried to draft them. I'm like, yo, Flyninium Z's already taken. The doc said so. And he's like, no, you're looking at it wrong. I'm just like, oh yeah. So I felt like an idiot looking at the doc wrong. So Flyninium Z was taken. I was like, well, fine, we'll just go for Fightinium Z or Rockium Z. No, those got taken as well. So I'm just like, we need something that Lando T can abuse. So I'm just gonna go grab Groundium Z. It's something Lando T can abuse. Not many other Pokemon can really effectively use it on our team, sadly. But if we need to, we will use it. But it just stinks that we got stuck with Groundium Z. I mean, it's something that we can use, but Lando T can basically use it, and that's it. So I'm not really going to go on about that. But next up, we have 3 picks left. We have a Tier 5, a Tier 3, and then a Tier 4 with our 2 last free picks. I want to get my Tier 5 because there are some Pokemon I could switch out for Tier 3 and Tier 4. So we go with Tier 5. We didn't have a Grass type. We didn't have a Dragon type. So we drafted Alolan Executor. And you can't even see that thing's face right now. It's just that tall. Executor. It's funny too. So this is Alolan Executor. This thing has Frisk and Harvest. This is actually another Wish Passer. It doesn't get it in Ultra Sun and Moon, but if you transfer an Execute from XD or an event or whatever it was, you can actually get Wish on your Alolan Executor. And since we do some high-tech breeding here at JaCubAsAlways, this thing is actually very... This thing can be a Wish Passer if need be, but its Dragon Grass or Grass Dragon is really weak to Ice, so we have some really weak to Ice Pokemon in Lando T and Alolan Executor, but we have Magmar, Blacephalon, Tentacruel, Porygon 2, Mesprit, Umbreon. Those all can take Ice moves. Jolteon can take special Ice moves decently well too, depending on the Ice type. So I'm honestly not that worried about Ice types, if I'm being completely honest. So Alolan Executor I thought worked pretty well, and then it's another Trick Room user too, and it's a Pokemon that we can abuse from Trick Room if we need to. Basically, we can run like Specs Draco, and depending on the team matchup, we might just be able to get a kill. Or we go Specs Leaf Storm, which is basically Draco Meteor for Grass types. So we can go that route too. It also gets Fire coverage. It can use Groundium Z Earthquake if we need it to, which I don't know if I really want to go that route, which we'll see down the line. But Alolan Executor is pretty cool. I definitely really enjoy it. Yeah, it's just effective. I'm just going to keep going on about it. But I'm not... Leech Seed, too, it will be nice. Frisk will be especially nice just because we can scout our opponent's items. So, that'll be good. But yeah, that's Alolan Executor. Just so this doesn't keep going on and on, I want to get this going. We have a Tier 3 and a Tier 4 left. I've been wanting to use this Fighting type from Tier 3 for a while now. And I'm like, well, we need a Fighting type. We need faster Pokemon. Let's go and grab Mienshao, because it has 2 good abilities in Regenerator and Reckless. It gets some nice Fake Out chip. So in combination with Toxic Spikes, that could be a very effective way of chipping some opponents down, our opponent's team sometime. If I didn't like ramble and stuff, that would help me a lot. But anyway, Mienshao should be able to hit things decently hard, or very, very hard, especially with Choice Band and Reckless if we go that route. Gets knockoff, it gets initiative with U-turn, it gets Regenerator, like I said. So if we need to run like an Assault Vest Mienshao, I will do that if the situation calls for it. There's nothing I'm against running, and like to think I'm a very creative builder. Yeah, obviously we all can improve. I'm not the best, I'm saying, but I'd like to think I'm creative at the least. I don't just run standard stuff all the time. Like, there's no point in running standard stuff. It's Draft League. This is where you can be the most creative, and I love Draft League for that reason, because you can be so creative with all your sets. It's just great to be creative. But anyway, Mienshao is pretty nice. It's an effective Choice Scarf user too if we need to go that route. Like Tentacruel, it won't be a Pokemon that will bring every matchup, but maybe like half the matchups, or even like 40% of them. It's a good Pokemon when the matchup is right, but don't bring it when the matchup is incorrect for it, otherwise you could pay the price. But most matchups you can probably make Mienshao work, not even gonna lie. Like, we can Baton Pass a Coal Mine into a Blacephalon that's Scarfed or something like that if we really wanted to go that route, which I might do that eventually. We'll see. But anyway, that is me and show. I didn't really want to talk about it a lot much because I wanted to get going with this. But last but not least, our Tier 4 last free pick Pokemon. I wanted more hazards, and I want a lot of hazards. And I wanted an offensive water type that Tentacruel is not. And all those Pokemon are Omastar. Oh, I forgot the nickname, say my Pokemon nickname. Alone Executor is going to be Sebi or A1X, I forget. Yes, it's going to be Sebi. And then Mienshao is going to be D-Tron, and then Omastar is going to be A1X or Alex. No, wait, no, that was Porygon 2. I don't know. You guys will figure out the nicknames. I can't remember. But Omastar gave me a bunch of hazards, Toxic Spike, Spikes, and Rocks. It's a Suicide Lead. It's going to be offensive Shell Smash user. It's pretty slow at 55, but it could be a solid Trick Room user even too. Or if you wanted to run Manual Rain with Swift Swim. There are a lot of things this thing can do for your team. I just wish you got Rapid Spin, and this thing would have been absolutely perfect for me. I would have loved this thing even more than I already do. But honestly, Omastar is pretty excellent. But anyway, that's our team. There's not much to say about Omastar. Like, it's kind of, you pretty much know what it's going to do to a degree. Like, I might go with some niche strategies like Manual Rain with Swift Swim, or if we face a Rain team. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day, and I love you all so very much. Adios. Bye-bye.